Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrta Adi-Lila. We are on chapter 7, speaking the glories of the Panchatattva. Text 22. Puna puna piyaya haya maha mata nache kande hase gaya yaiche madha mata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Panchatattva themselves danced again and again, and thus made it easier to drink nectarian love of Godhead. They danced, cried, laughed, and chanted like madmen, and in this way they distributed a love of Godhead. So we were hearing yesterday that how Lord Chaitanya, he's called Mahavadanyaya because Krishna does not freely give his love. We were just speaking about prema in Bhagavatam. So Krishna does not easily give that. But when Lord Chaitanya came, Lord Chaitanya, he's Krishna himself. He openly, whoever wants, take. It's like on a, of distributing freely. People generally cannot understand the actual meaning of chanting and dancing. Describing the Goswamis, Sri Srinivas Acharya stated, Krishnot Kirtana Gana Nartana Parao. Not only did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates demonstrate this chanting and dancing, but the 6 Goswamis also followed in the next generation. The present Krishna consciousness movement follows the same principle, and therefore, simply by chanting and dancing, we have received good responses all over the world. It is to be understood, however, that this chanting and dancing do not belong to this material world. They are actually transcendental activities. For the more one engages in chanting and dancing, the more he can taste the nectar of transcendental love of Godhead. So Lord Chaitanya, he has given us this easy process of going back home, back to Godhead, just by chanting and dancing. And Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that this is not ordinary chanting and dancing. It is not material. It is transcendental. Transcendental activities. It is the natural activity of the soul to chant the holy name, to chant the glories of the Lord, to dance with the Lord, to dance for the pleasure of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that the Krishna consciousness movement is also following in the same, process given by Lord Chaitanya. Patra vichar nahi sthana sthan ye yanha paya tanha kare premadan. In distributing love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate and who was not, nor where such distribution should or should not take place. They made no conditions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of Godhead. There are some rascals who dare to speak against the mission of Lord Chaitanya by criticizing the Krishna consciousness movement for accepting Europeans and Americans as Brahmanas and offering them sannyas. But here is an authoritative statement that in distributing love of Godhead, one should not consider whether the recipients are Europeans, Americans, Hindus, Muslims, etc. The Krishna consciousness movement should be spread wherever possible, and one should accept those who thus become Vaishnavas as being greater than the Brahmanas, Hindus, or Indians. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired that his name be spread in each and every town and village on the surface of the globe. Therefore, when the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spread all over the world, should those who embrace it not be accepted as Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, and Sannyasis? These foolish arguments are sometimes raised by envious rascals, but Krishna conscious devotees do not care about them. We strictly follow the principles set down by the Panchatattva. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, because he would be criticized many times that he went to the West and he's given Brahmanical initiation to the Westerners, and that it's only reserved for the Hindus. But he's saying here, I'm following just the Shastra, I'm following whatever is the direction, what is the instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that in each town and village, the holy name will be chanted. That was his mood, his prediction. And so Srila Prabhupada is saying, if we are doing that, then what is the, where is the fault? Where is the fault? He's just following strictly whatever is said about by the Panchatattva. Because Krishna consciousness, love of God is there in everyone's heart. It's not that it's just for a certain particular group of people in a particular country or a particular community or a particular sect. No, Krishna consciousness is for everyone, each and everyone. Love of God, how can each and every one of us are children of God, and each and every one of us has love of God in our heart. And through the Krishna consciousness movement, we are getting a chance to revive this natural love. So Lutia Kaya Diya Bhandara Ujare Ascharya Bhandar Prema Shataguna Bare. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Although the members of the Panchatattva plundered the storehouse of love of Godhead and ate and distributed its contents, there was no scarcity. For this wonderful storehouse is so complete that as the love is distributed, the supply increases hundreds of times. A pseudo-incarnation of Krishna once told his disciple that he had emptied himself by giving him all knowledge and was thus spiritually bankrupt. Such bluffers speak in this way to cheat the public. But actual spiritual consciousness is so perfect that the more it is distributed, the more it increases. Here we are hearing that the Panchatattva, they are giving love freely to people. They're giving freely. So it doesn't mean that it's finished now, no more to give. You know, like we have a box of sweets and we give and then, oh, now it's finished. No, but this is transcendental. So the more they were giving, the more they're feeling and the more they're able to give. This is spiritual life. This is transcendental love. So Prabhupada is saying that there is someone who was telling his disciple, oh, I've given you all the knowledge. My spiritual knowledge I gave you. Now I have no more spiritual knowledge because I gave it to you. But Prabhupada is saying this is not spiritual. Spiritual things never finish. That only bankruptcy is a term that applies in the material world. But the storehouse of love of Godhead in the spiritual world can never be depleted. Never. We might think, oh, if I tell about what happens when we tell others about Krishna, it's not that our knowledge will go away. No, we'll get more and more. When we give Krishna to others, we will get more of Krishna. So it's not that, oh, if I give, then I'm finished, then I have no more. No, the more we give, the more we get. That is spiritual life. Krishna is providing for millions and trillions of living entities by supplying all their necessities. And even if all the innumerable living entities wanted to become Krishna conscious, there would be no scarcity of love of Godhead, nor would there be insufficiency in providing for their maintenance. Our Krishna consciousness movement was started single-handedly, and no one provided for our livelihood. But at present, we are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars all over the world, and the movement is increasing more and more. Thus, there is no question of scarcity. Although jealous persons may be envious, if we stick to our principles and follow in the footsteps of the Panchatattva, this movement will go on unchecked by imitation swamis, sannyasis, religionists, philosophers, or scientists, for it is transcendental to all material considerations. Therefore, those who propagate the Krishna consciousness movement should not be afraid of such rascals and fools, because there was a point when Srila Prabhupada was really being criticized. He was really being, brought under a lot of criticism and all that. Many people were being against him, telling him how you're giving Krishna consciousness to everyone, how you're letting everyone chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Women also, you're giving them initiation. You're letting everyone, giving Brahmanical initiation also, engaging all these people in deity worship, because there's particular caste of people, they say, no, it's only for this Brahmanical caste that can do. Whereas Prabhupada, he is following the mood of Lord Chaitanya. He's following Lord Chaitanya's mood. Lord Chaitanya's mood is give everyone, doesn't matter the qualification. Doesn't matter who anyone is coming from, just give them this Hare Krishna mantra, give them love of God. And so Srila Prabhupada is following in this mood of Lord Chaitanya. And imagine if it was not for him, where would we be? We have no qualification. How would we be hearing and chanting that if it was not for their compassion? Any comments or questions? If not, then we'll stop here for today. Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki Jai.
So that means,
Yes.
so that means that they were not doing any distinction what it was supposed to be, like how the Brahmanas did.
Well, it's not supposed to be. These distinctions were never supposed to be there. If the Vedas always say that one can qualify oneself to become a Brahmana, not that because you're born in the family of a Brahmana that you become a Brahmana. So it's just people were misusing their position and just keeping it for themselves. That was just the misuse, and that's how the Varna Sharma system had degraded into an ordinary caste system. So, but the Vedas always say that no, anyone can rise to the platform because love of God is there in everyone's heart. So each and every one has each and every one has the right to perform devotional service, and no one can take away that right. No one can take away that right. That right is given to us by God. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Binda ki jai, Hare Krishna.